really fooled the internet.
You need to leave.
Brutality.
Yes?
What can you tell me about this?
This is the start of phase 1. So, Fupa,
Yes, Brutality.
tell me a little about this.
So, let's discuss. Phase 1. First, Grace and Isabella were playing Roblox, and then they went to this war, and they brought it to Instagram, and they were just posting ugly pictures of each other for revenge.
Very ugly.
And then Grace had the best idea of the century. What was it?
She decided that they were going to be pranking everyone or fooling the internet.
The internet. So, as you can see here, they went to extreme lengths. They were on call with each other while cussing in the Kuga's group chat. Cussing, as you can see, cussing.
Which never happens.
They never cuss.
Never.
Ever. They're high school kids, they don't cuss.
Yeah.
Are you sure about that?
Anyhow, so the Kuga's group chat includes a little bit of a variety of people, if you will.
Variety.
Let's name off a couple, shall we?
Hassan, Kate, Nolan, Teresa Lloyd, Grace, and Isabella.
So they were in the Kuga's group chat just arguing and saying all these crazy things in the group chat, cussing and everything.
Yes.
And they thought that would stir the pot, and it definitely did.
There, they didn't really have that much of a reaction.
They didn't care.
Nope, at all. But as time went on, feelings grew more intense, and so did the reactions.
Grace even stopped talking in the group chat.
Completely. Radio silence.
So, Brutality,
Yes, Fupa?
if you will. If you don't mind, discuss further on those.
These lead into phase 2.
Phase 2, if you will.
Phase 2 consists of Isabella and Grace repeatedly conning and lying to their friends about what actually happened on that lonely, lonely night. The first person that they decided to convince was Teresa and Hassan. Isabella decided to go on the phone with Hassan and Teresa to discuss what actually went down with Grace. She explained her side of the story. But that doesn't exactly cover Grace's side of the story, does it? Now, with Isabella's story. First, she texted Teresa and said, I quote, Grace called me earlier and we were going to talk about everything, but we started arguing again and it got really bad. I've never had an argument like that before. I feel so bad. This whole situation is making me feel so upset. Teresa repeated. Teresa decided to respond with this. Just give it more time, because it's still fresh. And I don't know if she's in Chicago or not, but just wait. Let both of you think for a couple days and try to talk to her about it in a different way, maybe. That was the end of conversation 1. Moving on, we have Isabella's conversation with Johnny. Johnny caught on At first, he asked, "Are y'all trolling?" Isabella said, "Nope, I hate her." Johnny said, "Y'all have to be." Isabella proceeded to say, "I'm not racist or MAGA. It's all her." Johnny proceeded to say, "This is all a setup. How do you know that?" Isabella said, "She's just saying that Johnny hates me now and he thinks I'm racist." Basically, this was just Isabella trying to convince Johnny that her and Grace were in fact beefing. But judging by this, Johnny didn't really seem to catch on at all. The next paper, the next file, is Isabella talking to Aiden after he replied to her story saying that Grace smells like fish. Aiden replied and said, "This is genuinely sad. Grace stinky."
And Isabella decided to caption it, "Grace is a big fat stink troll."
Not only did Isabella post this to her story, but it also gave Isabella and Grace another reason to argue. They proceeded to go to the Kukas and talk about how Isabella talks bad about Grace behind her back, not only to Aiden, but assuming that she does it to all of the Kukas. The last and final piece of evidence is Grace. Grace privately discussed Nolan after Nolan sent her a big paragraph, basically summarizing and saying that Grace is still welcome in the group chat. She's still welcome to play Roblox. And Grace replied by saying, "Thank you so much, Nolan. I still love you guys, and I love her. I really don't want you guys to see me differently." Nolan said, "Of course, we don't see you differently, blah, 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 blah." Just a bunch of fluff.
Real original Nolan.
And that concludes stage 2. Care to explain this, Fupa?
I sure do, Brutality. So, of course, Grace and Isabella had to, explain themselves. They weren't exactly getting through to everybody, just the Kukas, and hardly they were even believing it. So they had to share a little bit of the word. Don't think they had help. Let's disclose him as a mystery. They had this group chat called Hangout Idea. But really, that's not what they were ideas. That's not what their ideas were. So they discussed how they were going to be able to get through to just everybody, really. Let's read them, shall we? Grace said, "Yes, we could repost this. You're so smart." Because they were discussing things that they could repost on their stories or put on their notes to just get people thinking, For example, Isabella put on her note, or no, Grace put on her story first, how it feels arguing with someone who doesn't admit that they're wrong. Ominous, huh? And Isabella put on her note, crazy coming from you. So they really all correlated, but nobody knew. But then people were getting curious, of course.
Here you go, Fupa.
Thanks, Brutality. So, being a part of the group, of course, had to get in on a little bit of action. So, he privately texted DM and asked Andrea Martinez, their very good friend, if she had any idea what the beef was about. So Andrea, of course, not knowing, said, "No, I thought they were just joking." And then Andrea privately texted Isabella, quite upset. Sorry, I said quite upset. Sorry. So of course, Andrea privately texted Isabella and asked, "I've seen, are y'all for beefing?" And Isabella said, "Who told you?" Andrea said, "I'm just asking. I've seen you go back and forth. I thought it was jokes." And Isabella, making up a lie, of course, said it was a joke at first, but then she got mad at me for posting messages, and I got mad. She posted a bad video of me, and we had a huge argument about it. Andrea said, "Oh my, will you make up? And Isabella said, we tried to talk about it, but we just ended up saying some things that we didn't really mean. It was a bad argument. I've never seen Grace get like that before. Andrea said, well, I hope you guys can make up. And Isabella said, well, it depends on how she acts. Because if not, it's doomed. Files?
Yes, ma'am. Sir, sorry.
Not misgendering me. Rebecca privately texted Grace on her story that was anonymous supposed to be about Isabella. And Rebecca replied, what is this story about? Or who is this about? And Grace said, honestly, Isabella has been acting really difficult. We had an argument the other day and she keeps bringing it up. She knows it's about her. And Rebecca said, oh, I was confused because of the notes in the post. And me and Isabella just had to make up a lie. They didn't know what to say because they kept lying. They wanted to tell a different story to different people, which is what caused a little bit of mayhem, if you will. So.
Now, I know you may be wondering, who was the inside guy? Who was this mystery macho that helped them fool the internet? I regret to inform you that the mystery man was in fact none other than Johnny. Johnny. He not only helped them fool the Kukas, it helped him fool the world. More importantly, the internet. I'm gonna start with a little something that Johnny had sent to the Hangout group chat that was meant to disguise their deceiving plans as just plans to hang out. The first thing we have here is Johnny taking a picture that Grace sent of her at the Wax Museum of the fattest person alive and saying, Mr. Melton's wife. I'm not completely sure what Johnny has against Mr. Melton's wife, but it came as a shock to Grace and Isabella. The next thing that we have on Johnny for the Johnny Files is this. This is Johnny saying that Mr. Melton was also at the Wax Museum and showed a picture of this fat-looking chud. Saying he was next to his wife. So itchy. Oh my God. And with that being said, Fupa,
Brutality.
that's how we fooled the internet.
I don't even know who this guy is.
Oh!
It was us the whole time.
The
Grace and
whole
Isabella.
time. Fupa and Brutality, who are they?
Like, who's that? I've heard of him.
It's us.
Yep. And we're joking. We're never fighting.
No,
The internet.
we were never fighting, and you all believed it. All of you believed it.
I really didn't think you guys were gonna believe it. Not
Nope.
a single bit. I thought you guys would instantly know we were joking. But
Yep.
all of this.
For what? All of it? All of it?
Every single thing.
All of it?
Like, just this. Really us.
And that skunk over there.
Oh yeah. It's the Johnny.
Well, now we're gonna go get some Dirty City pizza.
Yep.
Real dirty pizza.
We
Real
just got
dirt.
on a Derby City Pizza and
Their cups were disgusting, so
we just done and dashed.
bye, dirty.
Bye, Dirty.